Welcome to the show, my friends. We're working it. We don't know quit. We'll enjoy the ride until the very end, searching for that hit. We could have lost control. We could have sold our souls. But we keep holding on to the thing that keeps us together. We gotta keep on rocking, 'cause the fire is still the same. We gotta keep on rocking. We're not ready to leave this game. We gotta keep on rocking, 'cause the fire is still the same. We gotta keep on rocking. We're not ready to leave this game. I remember when Johnny said, "Can't ignore you forever." He said, "Keep your eye on the prize and don't let go."
Congratulations, M&R Rush, with excellent careers. Man, oh man, great bunch of guys.
Let's have a hand for M&R Rush, please. 3 years, that's unbelievable. Thank you.
All right, we're going to get things started. We're going to do some Q&A with the guys, get to know a little bit about them. Some of the stuff might be in the book, some might not. How many people have gotten their book? All right, make sure you don't leave this place without one. I'm Tom Lounges from the NPR Radio, the Times, and all the way back to the Hegwish Records days and Night Rock News and Point East. And how many people remember any of that? Any Point Easters here? All right, any Night Rock Radio listeners here? Yeah, we had some good times then. And I'll tell you what, I was still in high school, right about getting out, when this place called the Parthenon Theater in downtown Hammond started doing concerts. I remember Kiss played there, and Angel played there, and all these different bands. And suddenly there was a group called M&R Rush, and I thought it was Rush, and it wasn't. But I walked in, I saw these guys when they were much younger with much longer hair, and I left that night as a fan. In fact, I think we were all there. I think I mentioned that in the part that I wrote in the book, is that I left that night as a fan. I've stayed a fan ever since. Then they went on to places like the Hammond Civic Center. Anyone remember Civic Center? All the great shows there we used to do. That was back when Hegwish was working with Celebration Flipside, and we were doing all kinds of stuff. And the first time I ever emceed a show was, I think, Blue Oyster Cult and the Hounds. And these guys were always part of the audience, part of the tour, part of the billing. And then Point East came along, and they became a regular at Point East when I was club director there. And that's where we really bonded. And I got to know these guys quite well. And what always amazed me about M&R Rush is the fact that they never separated, really. They stayed intact. They got along. They might beat each other up in the back room over a song list or something, but they'd come out and they'd be pro. And they never parted ways. There was never any real animosity here. They were family, and that's the secret of a good band. It's the secret of rock and roll. Keep it all together. Keep your fans close. Keep your bandmates close. Keep your management close, and work together. And we're going to learn a little bit more about them through some questions. And then I'm going to actually ask you guys for some questions as well. We've got some dignitaries in the house that, like myself, go way back with this band, and they're going to come up and share a few stories as well. But first of all, the thing is, I remember Marty calling me, and he said, "Tom, let's go to breakfast," because we do that every couple months. We'll get together, hang out, catch up. And he said, "I got something new brewing." And I thought, okay, well, we did the last concert, and you just did an album, so what's brewing? And he said, "We're going to be the subject of a new book." And I said, "Are you kidding me?" He said, "Yeah, I'm serious." So we got the book, Reach for the Stars, and Marty, I want you to tell them sort of what you told me about how this book came together. This was out of left field. You weren't ready for this, but it happened. It's here. We're here.
Well, welcome everybody. We appreciate you coming out. Thank you. Why doesn't my voice sound as good as Tom's voice?
You gotta talk like this.
Hey, Tom, thank you very much. But anyway, so yeah, that's a real story. Me and Tom get together every couple weeks, couple months, and have breakfast, and then I usually Tom usually buys because and then I usually give the tip, but that changed because I was only given a 2% tip, and I didn't understand that I should have been given a 5% tip. But anyway, so we got kicked out of that restaurant. Is the way the book came about is unbelievable. There's no way in heck that I would ever think that we would have a book about this. And what happened was we got a email from a longtime friend of Roger and mine when we were young lads playing in the backyard. And, I get this email saying, "Hey Marty, this is Jim Arvia. I don't know if you remember me, but I was your neighbor back in Roseland, and I used to watch you play drums as an 8-year-old in the backyard." And I said, "Yeah, I remember you, Jim." And he proceeded to tell me that he was not a musician, but he wrote some lyrics to a song called Roseland Nights. And the reason for him getting in touch with us, he wanted us to go in and record and create a song to his words. And so I said, absolutely not. We don't have time to do that kind of stuff. We're all over the place, and it's hard enough for us to get together to rehearse and record our own stuff. But very nicely, I said, "Jim, no, I would be a liar to say it would take 6 months to a year to get a song for you about your lyrics." So he didn't get too mad, and then he sent another email back, and he said, "Hey, I have another angle. I went to AI." Now this is important. There's some musicians in here. AI, and I told them, "Here's my lyrics. I want you, Mr. Computer, to write a song that has bass, guitar, drums, guitar, keyboards, 4-part harmonies, and I want it to be a rock and roll song, and I want it to sound like M&R Rush." He got a song back in 4 minutes from AI. So I said, "Hey man, send it to me, Jim," because I'm thinking this is going to be terrible. So he sent it, and I listened to it, and I said, "Oh my gosh, everything sounds great except the drums." Anyway, but so then I called John up and Jeff, who produce our music and are the music coordinators, and I said, "Listen to the song." They were impressed. Well, so then we got back to Jim, and I only have 3 minutes to talk, and I know I'm into my 5th minute, but that's all right. I said, "Jim, we can't do it." And he goes, "Okay, here's the deal. I write books. I've written 7 books, short books, about Roseland and the Italian heritage, and I'd like to write a book about you." I said, "Well, that's pretty cool. Marty Martirosian, the drummer? Yeah, that's kind of cool." No, so he proceeds to say, "Hey, I've been following you guys. I love your music. Would you give me a chance?" And I said, "Hey, Jim, send me a copy of one of your other books so I could see what kind of quality of writing he did." So he did. And we also said, "Okay, let's do it." And he said, "Okay." So we came up with an idea. This was 7-8 months ago. And he said, "All you got to do is send me information when I ask for it. Send me pictures, and I'll do everything else. And I just want to make sure that you understand that this is a biography, not an autobiography, a biography. And that means that I'm the author, I write it, you're the subject, and you guys have no say-so over what goes in the book. So I said, you can go and shove that book. No. So anyway, that we ended up coming up 800 emails later, 190 phone calls. We came up with this short book. So, did I answer your question?
Yeah. A very long journey. I was ready to get the GPS out for that one.
Oh yeah. One more thing. Roger's participating right now.
Okay.
Well, James isn't here, but his son is here to represent the Arvias. Where's he at?
There he is.
the chapeau
Yeah,
on.
baby.
And the reason why Jim doesn't travel anymore, right? And he lives in a secluded area. I don't even know if planes go in and out of there anymore. But anyway, thank you for coming, Jim.
All right. And for those that have read the book, I think you'll agree with me. It was extremely well written. I was unfamiliar with Jim, but I am now looking forward to getting some of the other books. I'm going to go to Marty's house and steal them, because this was very well written and put together in a really short time, considering. And one thing you'll notice is that there are some incredible photos from throughout the decades of the band, a lot of the concerts we worked together, and it's just a phenomenal book which you need to pick up today. So, let's talk about a couple of interesting stories. And Roger, I understand there was a colorful story about Ted's Warehouse. You going to tell us about that?
This is probably only going to take about 20 minutes. So if everybody's ready for this, I try to beat out Marty. Anyway, this is actually in the book, but it was an experience that was unbelievable for me. We used to go play a lot of the college bars in Eastern Illinois, Southern Illinois, Northern Illinois, you name it, we went there. Champaign. And this particular, I think it was a Friday, we all got off work because we were working at the time, and we were playing on the weekends. And so we drove down. Carl probably drove. He drove the van. Anyway, we drove down, got there prior to the show. We usually like to do a sound check, but this particular time we couldn't. So the setup is, it's called Ted's Warehouse, which is a big, huge warehouse. It had a balcony stage, and it had seating up above, and then the whole downstairs was a crowd of people. So anyway, we get in our mode of getting ready to play. We get out there, we play our first song. I didn't sing at all in the first song. So the second song comes along, was probably like Fool for the City from Bogad or something like that. Anyway, I get up to the mic and touch my lips on the mic. And I was playing bass at the time, of course. And so a shock went right through my lips, through my heart, down to the guitar. And I fell to the ground on the stage. And the guys probably looked at me like, what are you doing? Did you have a heart attack or whatever? Anyway, it was just a blackout situation for me. So I got up and I'm looking around. And of course, this is the second song of the night. And the place is packed with people. So we get up. Got off stage. They wanted to make sure I was okay. At least they didn't just keep playing without me. Anyway, got up there, sat around for about 10, 15 minutes, and I said, okay, I'm fine. So we went and did the rest of the show, and like the book says, I got a couple extra hot dogs at the end of the night. So Ted's Warehouse, that was a big thing he did.
Great story.
I remember hearing the thump when he hit the ground. He was standing right next to me, and I heard this boop, boop. And I looked at him. Roger, you all right?
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were done yet. Your short comments compared to those guys.
I've got lots of comments.
All right, there's another famous band that came out of Roseland. Anybody know who it was? Most of you do. That's it. Styx, of course. We're talking about Styx. They were like the bubbling under band, as I remember. Styx was starting to break big. M&R Rush came up the ranks. And the guy on the far end over here, Carl, he plays keyboards. And Carl, tell us a little bit about the Hammond B3 and Dennis DeYoung and what he had tied with you.
Well, we backed up sticks at the Cal Park Rec Center. And after the night was over, Dennis called me over and said, "Hey, kid, come over here." And I came over by him. I said, "Yeah, Dennis, what's up?" And he says, "Never bring that shit on stage again." And I said, "Dennis, that's all I got. I had a MIDI, Farfisa mini compact organ that my mom bought me when I was in 6th grade, and that's what I used, you know." And he said, "No, whenever you play with sticks, just use my stuff." And so I would show up at the shows, and all these guys would bring their amplifiers, guitars, drums, and I would just walk up on stage and play. I used Dennis's equipment. And we became friends. And Dennis would actually would be out in the crowd or by the soundboard, and he would mix M&R Rush. And he liked when I played his keyboards because this way he could make sure that the organ was heard above the guitars. So anyhow, he had an organ for sale, and it was a Hammond M3 organ, and it was for $650. And so I agreed to buy it from him, and I went to his house, and he wasn't there, but his wife answered the door in a towel, and she said, "Come on in and sit down." I just got out of the shower, and I was a junior in high school. And
That was the most memorable part of it. Right?
So I happily came in and sat on the couch and waited for her, and then paid her, and then I left. And a couple years later, Dennis moved. He lived in Park Forest at that time, and he moved to Frankfurt. And for some reason, John and Roman and I were together, and I said, "Hey, why don't we go and visit Dennis DeYoung?" And they were like, "You know where he lives?" I said, "No, but we could go to the Village Hall in Frankfurt, and I'll tell him he's my friend, and they'll give me the address, and we'll go visit him." And so that's what we did. We went to the Village Hall, and I said, "Yeah, my friend moved here. Dennis moved here. Could you tell me where he lives?" They not only told me, they pulled the map out and showed me. This house right here on Locust Avenue, right here. Yeah. So we drive out there, John, me, and Roman go out there, and we ring the doorbell. And he answers the door, and he says, "How did you find me?" And I think John said, "Oh, we just went to this Village Hall, and Carl asked them where you lived, and they told us." And he says, "Oh, I'll take care of that right away." And he was real cool. He invited us in, and Tommy was just in the band, and he played us the Crystal Ball album. We sat there and we listened to Crystal Ball. It wasn't released yet, no. And for some reason, that's still one of my favorite Styx albums. Probably because we heard it before it came out, and Dennis played it for us. But
how many times did you guys play with Styx? It was quite a few. You were
quite a few. You know what? The more I talk to people, they bring up spots where I forgot that we played with Styx, and I know that we played with Styx at St. Xavier 4 times, and one time was for George McGovern benefit. It was in 1972. It was in the auditorium. Yeah. No politics. I'm sorry. No politics.
Do you still have that MP or M3 organ by chance?
No, I had it stored at my mom's house, and when she passed away, I put an ad in the paper and sold it for $650.
Did Dennis buy it back?
You know what? Years later, I got word from him that he wanted it back, but it was gone.
Long gone.
It was gone, yeah.
Thank you, Carl.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
M&R Rush has recorded an awful lot of albums over the years, and you can see a lot of the different front covers and some of the exhibits here remembering their career. But I want to go back to the very first recording experience, and John, you were the guy that had a lot of hands-on with the recordings and things like that, and the writing. Tell me about what the first, I'm sorry, I'm looking the wrong way.
Hey!
Over here! Comes with age. Tell me a little bit about what it was like to be a young guy just breaking into business, and you're finally going in and you're making your first album. What was those early recordings like?
Well, there's a backstory to this. How many people know the song, remember the song, Bend Me, Shape Me by the American Breed? How many people remember those little transistor radios you had back then, about the size of a cigarette package? Well, I remember I was like in 8th grade, and I would listen to WLS and WCFL on the little transistor radio underneath my pillow at night, and I would fall asleep to that. And I remember hearing Bend Me, Shape Me on it. And so, fast forward 4 years, and we are being managed and booked by the same management company that booked Styx. And Vince DePaul was his name. He said, it's time to get you guys in the studio. You guys, you're starting to write your own material. You need to get in the studio and get used to the studio life. So we book a session at a place called Pumpkin Studios. And Pumpkin Studios at the time was in this guy named Gary. It was in his garage. And it was a 2-car garage that he had converted into this recording studio. And so we book our first session, get there in the afternoon. We walk in the side door, and he had a little hallway. And as you walk down the hallway, you saw a door that went into the control room, and a door that went into the actual studio part. Well, on the wall, right between those two doors, was a gold record saying, this is awarded to Gary Luizo of the American Breed for the song. He sang the song. He was the guitarist and the lead vocalist of the American Breed. Now, this is our first time in the studio, and here I got a guy on the other side of the glass who's got a gold record hanging there, and we've never been in the studio before. And talk about being intimidated. But so we get it all set up. He's got for you musicians out there, it was a 4-track deck. And he said, all right, guys, let's do a take and see what you get. He hits record. I see the red light, and I freeze. I'm like, oh. So he says, that's okay, take 2. Hits the red light. I start playing the wrong song. He comes out, and he goes, John, listen. It's nothing. Just pretend you're on stage. Close your eyes. Envision the fans. You guys got it. And that little speech and his demeanor. We finished the song. We ended up recording 5 songs that day. We did, 4 of them were covers. Seen All Good People by Yes. Be My Lover by Alice Cooper. Free by Chicago. Gypsy by Uriah Heep, and then one of Carl's originals, the first or second original, Lady Love, Lady Love. And from that day on, as the session went on, and I watched Gary, and I saw what he was doing and how he was recording it, and I got bit by the bug. I'm like, I can do that. So from that time on, every other session, either I was, whether it was a 4-track place or a 24-track, I was the co-producer, and I just learned how to, what to do to get it to sound properly, to hopefully get on the radio. And then a few years later, Jeff got in the band, and I found out what a great recording engineer Jeff already was. So from that point on, the two of us, we've produced all the M&R Rush stuff since 1983. So, my partner, and we've gone from, again, for you musicians out there, 4-track, analog, to 8-track, to 16, to 24, and one session we did at CRC, Chicago Recording downtown, we synced up two 24 tracks together. So we had actually 46 tracks because you had to use the time code. And now Pro Tools, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, very good. To play off of that, I want to talk to Jeff real quick, and that is, you already had recording studio experience.
Right.
Had you seen M&R Rush prior at that point? And then you, of course, joined the band. So tell us the story of your experience, maybe as a fan or as a regular, seeing them and then being asked to join the band and then working with them. How did you get involved in so many aspects and wear so many hats?
It started by me, just my brother did sound.
For the band?
For everybody.
Okay.
He was a sound man. And he said, you gotta see this band, M&R Rush. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, no, you gotta see him. And at this time, I was just in my own band, and we were learning how to sing.
Okay.
He's like, you gotta hear these guys sing. They harmonize. There's 4 of them that sing up there all at once. So I said, okay. I said, all right, let's go. I went out and I saw them. And after maybe 15 minutes of seeing the band, I wanted in.
Very good.
I was like, oh my gosh. And then I found out that my singer in my band was leaving.
So you needed a gig.
Yeah, I needed a gig. We worked on harmonies for like a year. I was just learning how to sing.
Folks, keep it down just a little bit, please. Get a little loud.
Oh yeah, that's the problem. I talk really soft, I'm sorry. I could just yell fire and see if I can... Anyway, I was learning how to sing. That was the main story I was trying to talk about. Is my band at that time, we were new, and I got to see M&R Rush, and they had already done this for some time. So when I seen them at the Homewood Theater, that did it.
Homewood, okay.
I was like, oh my gosh. And then I found out that Paul, after that, was going to be leaving for a while. I didn't know how long. And then that was it.
And so they asked you to fill in for a while, and suddenly you're in, and then Paul comes back, and now we have this lineup, and it's amazing.
All of us.
All right. Paul, we were talking earlier about how M&R Rush has this family chemistry. You guys are all good friends. You're like brothers. That's what's kept the band alive and working and thriving. On the flip side of that, they always say it's the crew that keeps the rock rolling. You guys have had a lot of the same crew members, management people, friends that help you for almost as long as the band's been around. And I know you're really involved. You're a people person in the band. Tell me about your crew and the people that have been there to keep M&R Rush moving forward.
I'll tell you, first of all, family is a perfect word for us. Family, before I get into the crew, I want to thank my wife. Kim, where we were at, thank you so much. She put everything together today for all the pictures that you see.
Oh, nice.
And she always steps up for the band. And I want to thank her. I want to wish her happy 15th anniversary tomorrow. Thank you, Kim. Thank you. Happy anniversary, honey. Now, as far as the road crew is concerned, they are family too. And I always knew our music was strong, and we need our show to be strong. And we had the greatest show, a great light show. because people, Carol talked about Dennis D. Young, and Dennis D. Young told me one thing: is people want to come and see a show, a production. He said they want to come and see five guys stand up there with their shoes nailed to the floor, and they want to see production. And we had a great production. We always had a great light show, great sound system, and great guys working for us. We had the mirror ball. We had Mars lights.
We had Mars lights courtesy of Champaign Police Department.
We had flash boxes too. Now flash boxes, if you know, they can cause some damage. And Danny Pedigo, God bless him, was he's still here. Yeah, he's still here. But he was loading one of them and it went off accidentally in his face. And he went to the hospital and we were all worried about him and thought, oh my God, he's going to be blind for the rest of his life.
That wasn't in the book.
No, it's not in the book. I know I had to stick to the book. But we had some other instances with the flashbacks too. Some audience members. Remember that, John?
The girl that John threw the pick in the air. Here, maybe John tell us.
We're playing, I threw some picks out in the audience, and this girl, St. Jude and Dalton, right? And she looked at me like I want one. Right there. I threw the pick. She went to grab it, and she actually knocked it back farther on the stage. I turn around, I get on the drum riser, and then we're going to end the song where I jump up and I hit the ground. And as I hit the ground, flash boxes are going to go off. So I throw the pick, she knocks it, I didn't see it. I get standing there, I look at her, I jump, I'm in the air, and I look, and I see her reaching over the flash box. And I'm like, where's the rope? You know, but I hit the ground, the flash boxes went off, and she went to the hospital, but she was fine, and thank God we didn't get sued. After that, we changed the way we did the flashback.
Marty went up to her when she lost her eyelashes, her eyebrows, and part of her hair. And Marty says, anything we could get you, anything we could get you. And she goes, I want a drumstick. I want a drumstick. And Marty goes, you want an amplifier too? How about an amplifier? But she was okay. Yeah.
Marty, that was my amplifier. You still owe me.
Okay.
But from Dean Kortenhoven, God rest his soul, to Lenny Langmeyer, Pete Taylor, Ray the Roadie. And too many to mention, and soundman Danny Pedigo, and Donnie Pedigo on lights. Danny's still doing lights, and he's a great electrician, and he does a great job. And they're listed in the book. We probably forgot a couple, but we try to remember all of them when we put the book together. But thank you to all of them, and their the trucks. We started with the truck. It was a white step van. It's kind of like a UPS truck, but.
Then we bought Styx's truck. We bought Moby from Styx.
We bought that from Papa St. John.
Papa St. John, but they bought it from Styx, right?
I don't know.
Somehow it got handed down to us. It was an international.
Right, that was Moby. Then we switched to a big box truck, which was Orca.
That was Orca, yeah.
You see a theme going here? See a theme? Moby, the Orca. And of course, now we ended up with a trailer that I called Shamu. But both those Orca and ended up being flipped, and everybody was okay. But the equipment went everywhere on the highway.
Everything was okay but Marty's drums and the flight cases were all broken apart, yeah. Coming back from Notre Dame.
One of the things you were talking about, the situation with the girl that lost her eyebrows. As a concert show producer, we're always very conscious of legalities. And I have only one experience with M&R Rush where I actually broke a sweat. They always had a tradition, and they did it several shows we worked on, where they would bring all the hot girls in the room up on stage for Uriah Heep's song. You remember doing that, guys? What was the song? Stealin', that's right. So it was a tradition. The girls all said when they start that song, we're all rushing the stage and we're going to go climb up and do that, which was fine in most situations. One of the shows I did with them was at the Acorn Theater in Three Oaks, Michigan. Tiny little staircases. And it was toward the end of the show, and most of the girls had been hitting the bar a little bit, and 90% of them were in high heels. So they bum rush the stage, they're climbing up, they're swaying back and forth, and the band's just going on, gangbusters, and like, another time around, another verse, and it's like, no. I'm watching these girls edge to the end of the stage, just waiting to fall right into the tables. And I'm trying to get attention. I think it was John. I was like, no more girls. And it was a little bit crazy. And fortunately, nobody got hurt. But it was the last time that I think you guys did that, at least at any of my shows. Because I'm like, do you realize how close we came? So it was all for rock and roll, that's right. In the end, it all turned out. But that was some great stuff. We're going to, in just a little bit, we're going to turn over the mic to you guys to ask some questions. But first, we want to make sure you're paying attention to the book and to what they had to say. So it's kind of like test time. Let's see what I got here as far as giveaways. I happen to have Goodbye City Lights CDs. You may have them if you're a true fan already. If you're not, pretend you're not, and win another one. So all I need you to do is answer some of these trivia questions. If you get it right, you get a CD, and then we're going to go on and do some questions from the audience. So, all right, anybody raise your hand, don't just shout it out. Where and when was the band formed? It's a two-parter. Where and when? Anybody know? Keep it down. Wrong year, but close. And where? Okay, we got half of that right. No, she's 2 years off on your formation date. Anybody got it right? If not, she's going to get it. We got Roseland already. 1970. Do we got an extra CD in here in the house? She gets one for Roseland. She gets one for 1970. It's a partnership. So set them up. The young lady in the red and the young lady right here at the table. Do we have a runner in the house? Kevin. Thank you, Kevin Fred, who will be performing shortly. You all know Kevin from the Mammoth days at Point East and elsewhere. All right, next question. Again, raise your hand. Don't yell it out so we can tell who's answering. What does the M&R in M&R Rush represent? Yes. That's half. Marty and Roger, that's half, and he's got that half. There's another part that is also correct.
It's from their mom. Their mom said it was a rush.
Well, we're looking at the M&R part of it, though. But you're right on that. So Marty and Roger set him up with a CD.
There was two other members
Where are the CDs?
in the original band.
You have them?
And one is here and it played earlier.
Nobody knows? Yes, go ahead. Hold on, keep it down, folks. Say it again. That's right. It stands for, there was a Mike, a Marty, a Roger, and a Robert. So there were 2 sets of M&Rs, all in the band at one time. That's a tough question. These are trick questions, Marty. These are
Robert
tough.
just walked in. Bobby, wave to us.
There he is.
He's the other R in M&R.
All right. As we mentioned when Jeff was talking with Paul, Paul took a little vacation from the band for a very short time. Jeff joined. At that time, there was a shift in something else, and that was their name. What was, yes, M&R, spelled out E-M-I-N-A-R, and I still have the white tour jacket you gave me with that spelling on it. I get people that always want to buy it. It's over on display at the store. All right, so we got a winner back there. Yep. Alice is taking it to him, okay. All right. Number 4. What M&R Rush song went all the way to number 45 on the Chicago Loop radio station in 1980? Rock and Roll Chicago. He raised his hand, he followed the class rules. Here, Kevin. I'm caught on a short leash here. There it is.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right. Which member of the band? Oh, this is a fun one. Which member of the band was always seen chewing gum and blowing bubbles during the performances? There's an awful lot of yelling going on here. There's Marty. Your hand did go up early.
Did Marty give you the questions?
And here's the other part. This is another 2-part. You got one. What was it he was chewing? In the back. Bubblicious. We were looking for the brand name here. All right. Product placement. He was a sponsor. Bubblicious. All right. And this is for the really veteran fans. Where was the band's first show in 1970? First show in 1970. Nope. Anybody? Saint something. My patron saint, Saint something. Luigi's, that was a great place. Nobody's got it? Yes? Nope. No. Not St. Ignatius. Not St. Rita. We're going to name every saint in the... Hold on, in the back. Folks, I can't hear. I wish we had a mic back there. Saint... All right. Shh. Seriously. Quiet. Yell real loud, just like your kids are misbehaving. No?
Anyway, I guess that wasn't too hard.
That's
but
too
John,
hard.
to answer your question, I did not come up with these. My son, Kevin Myrosian, came up with these. Right, Kevin?
Oh, there you go.
All right.
We got any extra CDs? I got a question.
You don't have one yet?
Who wore lighted suspenders during the shows? Which band member wore lighted suspenders?
See, these people aren't that old, John.
Wasn't me.
Yep. There you go. Carl. All right. And we got one more. And that is, who did they back up on their first show when they returned to live performing after a short hiatus? That was in 2003. Who were they opening for? In the back. Not Survivor. You got it, Foghat. Who are coming on May 23rd to the Casino in Gary.
They're a little older than us, aren't
Yeah, I just talked to Roger Earl. He'll be on the show in 2 weeks. They're still doing their thing. All right, at this point, I think we're going to turn it over to the audience. Are you guys ready for that?
Sure.
Okay. I kind of need to get a microphone. Do we have a microphone?
Sure.
Nope.
Phil's got one right there.
Way to go, Phil.
See, we still have good production. You know, we still got a good show going.
And hey, while they're dialing this in, how about a hand for Phil right here at his place here, awesome Community Tavern. This place is awesome. He always takes care of the musicians. Thank you, Phil.
Okay, are we hot? Are we good?
We're good.
All right, listen to those pipes. Who's got a question for the band? Let's start on this side of the room here. Anybody?
I got one.
All right.
Just 3 words. Mendel or Fenger?
Fanger?
Mendel.
Mendel.
Fanger. For the class, will you share that backstory?
Oh. I'm sorry.
Not everyone understands.
You know,
that.
I take a nap usually at this time. I'm sorry, man.
Half of the band went to Mendel and half of the band went to Fanger High School.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you,
In
Carl.
Chicago.
And John wanted me to remind all of you that Mendel men are gentlemen.
Very good. All right. Anybody on this side over here? Phil's got the mic hot for you. What year did Jeff join the band? He doesn't even know. He's been here so long.
Who's got the oldest guitar in the band?
Jeff joined the band in 1983.
All right. Who's got the oldest guitar?
I think I do. No, wait, yeah.
Okay.
Mine's a 1973 Les Paul standard.
This isn't a dancing noodle show.
Who said that?
Oh. All right, back to this side. You got any more questions over here?
I got one. Why would you go to a high school that didn't have girls? What does that tell you?
Mendel was a Catholic high school and didn't have girls. No.
We have a real question back here. Here you go.
We want to know who Marty's favorite sister is.
Well, my favorite youngest sister is Gail, and my favorite older sister is Leslie.
You're so political.
Oh, that's right. No politics today.
Always politically correct.
Here you go, right here.
Anyway, okay, over here.
I'd like to know from each of you what your favorite song is, and what's the favorite song live.
Are you talking originals or covers or both?
Whatever they want.
Okay.
Well, I got to go back to something that I got to give you a nonsense answer, Dennis. I'm not gonna, lie to you. Being a drummer, starting at 8 years old, my first song I learned was Wipeout. And I can still play it. So how's that answer, Dennis? That's fine. Wipeout. Now that's a BS answer, but that'll go good for you.
Roger.
Wow.
Well, in a weird way, a Beatles song.
It's obviously not that good.
Day in the Life, that's it. Day in the Life.
All right. Paul, what about you?
Well, I have to say that my favorite M&R Rush song, I think the song that depicts the band the best. If nobody's ever heard the band and you play a song for them, I think it should be Goodbye City Lights.
Yeah!
I think that song represents the band more than any other song.
All right, Jeff, what about you?
But I like playing it.
Original song?
Your favorite song is whether it's a cover or original, or do both.
Keep on rocking.
All right. Keep on rocking. Good one to play live. Gets the show going, gets the blood going. All right. John, what about you?
I'm going to go with the Queen song. And I've told this story a million times on stage. I saw them in 1975, the second time in the United States, at the Auditorium Theater, and they opened with this one, Bohemian Rhapsody. And to watch the energy, the guitar work, the vocals, it was something to see. So it left an impression.
All right. Carl, what about you?
Well, this is from our live show. My favorite song was Keep Yourself Alive by Queen. And John used to do the beginning part, but sometimes he would just keep going and going and going. And I played the tambourine, and Dennis always said, Carl, how do you play the tambourine so long? I just kept going on the tambourine. But the most amazing thing that I ever seen was Paul and Marty. Paul would throw pips to the crowd. He'd be whipping them, woo! And then he'd turn and he'd look at Marty and he'd whip it at Marty. And Marty would catch it in his mouth.
That was the Bubblicious catching it.
It was crazy. It was crazy, but I'll tell you, it was amazing. I loved it.
We had that.
I have a question back here. All right, question in the back.
Right in.
This is for Roger. Which one is your favorite sister?
Wait a minute, is my family getting into this next? My three sisters are all here.
Paul's sisters are here too. Well, I'm gonna take a page off Marty. My youngest, Lois, she's my favorite youngest. And Ginger, she's the oldest. They're both sweethearts, and I love them very much. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Yeah!
All right, we got anyone else back there? Nope. Yep. Randy.
I got a couple questions. Well, first of all, I want to say that Jeff Lewis made my band famous in Europe, and I went there like 4 times because of that guy right there. So, recording in his studio, they just loved us. We were getting signed to Geffen Records too because of him. But anyways, I got a question. In the pictures I was watching, all the band had long hair except Carl had a crew cut. Why was that?
Back in my previous life when I was married to a different woman, she made me cut my hair, so that's why I had short hair.
You shouldn't have married her.
Well, that's how life goes, right?
And that's why his hair at 71 years old is the way it looks now.
That's why I still got it now. My current wife, Bernadette, is an angel and lets me do what I want to do.
I want to add a little something about this guy right here too. So when he joined the band, I got to tell this story. So what happened was when Paul decided to take a leave of absence, we put out the word, and we narrowed it down. We got demo tapes in, and we narrowed it down to 3 guys, and Jeff was one of the 3 guys. And one of the reasons we picked Jeff was he submitted a tape with some original songs that he sang, and he said he played all the instruments. But that's all he told us. So we were like, okay. But anyway, so we ended up picking Jeff, and I called Jeff up, and I go, all right, Jeff, it's time for us to start rehearsing, and you want to come over to my apartment and we'll get started. And Jeff says to me, well, you want to come to my studio and practice? And I'm like, what did he just say? So I'm expecting, I don't know, a little 4-track cassette deck or something in a little tiny garage. And long story short, he had a professional 24-track studio, and this guy has got gold records to this day. He's got them hanging on his wall for the work that this guy has done. Janet Jackson He mixed a Janet Jackson song, and he's got 2 gold records. One for his studio was awarded, and the other one was awarded to Jeff, specifically for the work he did, for sales over like 2 million copies. This guy, love you, man.
Any final questions?
I have one for Marty and Roger. It came from this table over here. Parnell Pharmacy or Bernardi Brothers?
Parnell. We were better, always better than them. Always. We're talking about Little League, and obviously one of our good friends from Roseland. Oh, that was West Pullman.
That was West Pullman, Little League, yeah.
So now that you brought that up, me and Roger were voted. What were we voted for when we were 15? The nicest guys in baseball. Anyway.
Anybody else have any questions at all? Any other questions? One right here.
I really don't have a question, but I wanted to make a statement. So, having been a fan of M&R Rush since I was probably 5, maybe a little bit older, but having grown up in Riverdale in my early youth growing up, having been a part of Roseland and having been a part of Northwest Indiana music scene, I hope you all realize the legacy you've created for yourselves and for the fans that have been here, because I've had the opportunity to hire you and be a fan, continued fan, and you are also much a big part of all of our memories here, and I think that everybody that's here is a testament. So I just wanted to express that.
All right, very good. Give it up to these guys.
Thank you so much.
We've got a few special guests in the audience we're going to call up in a moment. I have one question, and that is for any or all of you guys. Of all the venues that you have played in your career, what is your favorite or among your favorites? Great answer. I like that.
So if we played here at Phil's place, which we haven't really, we would say Phil's place. Tom, that's a tough question, and I'll give you mine. Is a lot of the places. Point East was one of the top ones in Linwood, Illinois. Then when we were getting chances to play big sheds and things, the International Amphitheater. I mean, it was just whoa! We can't believe that we're here. And there's just so many places, but Point East and International Amphitheater was mine.
All right, good one.
Chicago Fest and Rock Around the Dock.
Well, the Hammond, I don't know if it'll be the new Chicago Bears place or not, but we played with REO Speedwagon at the Hammond.
Hammond Fest.
Was it Hammond Fest? Anyway, it was pretty awesome.
Was it Wolf Lake?
They treated us pretty well there, so that was kind of a fun show.
It's in the book.
Well, I have a story about that place, which is in the book. We were treated like royalty there at Hammond Fest, and Tom McDermott, who was the mayor of Hammond, he was a big M&R Rush fan, and he treated us like royalty, and we had all kinds of liquor, bottles of liquor, and food, and unbelievable, and the shrimp, which I love cold shrimp, but we were playing, and I sent one of the road crew back to go grab that bottle of Jack that was in there. And he came back, and I took a big slug, and I handed it to 3 girls who were right there in front of me, and that bottle was never seen again. It went off through the crowd, and everybody got a little bit of Jack Daniels that day.
You know what was really weird? Tom McDermott still's the mayor, and he's going after the Chicago Bears. the greatest thing was he was a big M&R Rush fan. And so we played, and we you know, you have your magic moments. It was one of our magic moments playing at that place. We come off, the crowd, there was like, I don't know, there was a lot, 15, 17,000 people there. And they were all there early, too, so they saw us. And we come off stage, and Tom McDermott goes, you guys are great, get up there, they want an encore. And I said, hey, Tom, all due respect, you don't, part of the business, you don't do that. You don't open up for a national act and you know, you're the backup band. You're there just to entertain a little bit. And he goes, hey, man, this is my party. Get your butt up there. But anyway, we did not go up, you know, right? So.
All right, guys, on this side, what are your favorite venues to play?
I'll have to say Chicago Fest because it was crazy. There were boats. There were tons of people. Police boats. People brought their boats and were watching us from the back of the pier, and they were all around us. And then all of a sudden, the Chicago boats came out and were chasing our fans away. And the Chicago police were, but it was pretty amazing. It was like thousands of people, and it was during the day, and it was really cool. So I'd say Chicago Fest.
I'm going to give Chicago Fest a second. My first one...
Actually, third.
Yeah, there you go. Mine is going to be... So my sister, back when I was... She brought home the first Beatle album. And I heard it, and I went, wow. And then I saw him on the Ed Sullivan Show, and I said, that's what I'm going to do with my life. And then I saw that the Beatles played at the International Amphitheater. And then we played, it was WLS Rock Fest is what it was. And it was at the International Amphitheater. And all of a sudden I'm playing and I'm realizing I'm standing, it's probably not the same stage, but I'm standing in the same place that the Beatles stood like 10 years earlier. The hair in my arms stood up. And I remember that like it was yesterday. That's mine.
When all your troubles seem so far away. All right, Jeff, what about you?
I can't touch that one. My hair is just sitting down. All right, let's go Luigi's.
Oh, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Shot special.
There you go. No big long story.
No.
Everybody here knows all about Luigi's.
That was a great place.
That's
we have any old Luigi fans here? Remember the bell? Mama Luigi?
Remember Papa Luigi playing the battles?
Yeah. All right. We've covered all the questions.
This place kind of reminds me of Luigi's. Because Luigi's had nothing but tables in front of the stage and no dance floor. Because people would sit and watch the band, which is exciting for a band member. For people to sit and listen to their music. And this place reminds me of, I wish we could play here. I really do. I wish we could play here. Thanks, Phil.
All right. We've got some special guests. He's on my list. I'm about to announce him. Jimmy Lenz. World famous Jimmy Lenz, who books everybody and started right here in the region. Like these guys, like Styx, like all the great bands and talents that come out of here. There he is.
Thank you, Tom. Great. All right, I got to tell you, what a great book. How many people have already read the book? Isn't it fantastic? Lots of great memories with all of you guys. Very cool, very cool. I'll just make this short, is that, John, you were talking about the first time you saw the Beatles and you're like, this is what I want to do. I was in 8th grade and I saw M&R Rush. And I said, this is what I want to do. That's the truth. That is the truth. 4th of July in Hazelcrest, M&R Rush played, loved the show, and started to kind of watch what they were doing and how they promoted the band, how they ran their business. And I got lucky enough. 10% for everything. I got lucky enough, for the good and the bad, to make a career out of the entertainment industry and book tours all over the world. And these guys were like top inspiration. And John, another thing that you talked about when you said your favorite song and you started to say Queen, I gotta say my favorite Queen song that you guys did was Tie Your Mother Down. Oh, yeah. Fantastic. Love that show. So, you know what? If we haven't read the book, you're gonna get the history, but one of the things that they touched on a little bit about the history of the band is the recent history, which knocks me out. There's a phrase going around, the youth of your senior years. It's amazing what these guys are doing since they stopped playing. That blows me away, that they go in the studio, they're writing songs, they're recording songs, and releasing songs worldwide. How about that? Marty and I have been able to become really close friends over the years. We've spent time pre-COVID flying around, meeting in different points in the country to go see concerts, and we keep in close touch all the time. And I love the fact that he still has his checklist on what's going to happen with M&R Rush. So he's got worldwide releases. He's got streaming everywhere. People can now access their music. It's all re-recorded, remixed, everything going. Now he's got a book out. Now here's the other thing that's on his list that he talks about all the time. And maybe somebody can help. No, it's not going to be that one. No. I'm going to do the family-friendly one that's on your list. The family-friendly one, if anybody is a movie maker here, Marty is working on trying to get M&R Rush music in a movie. Yeah! So that's on the list. We're working on it, helping out where we can, but anybody who can help him out, that's next on the list for M&R Rush. Let's keep the youth of their senior years going like all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. And to follow up on that, when is the book going to be turned into a movie, Marty?
Well, that's a good, not a movie, but it is going to be an audio book. And what else? Digital? Digital and audio, we're working on it.
I think M&R Rush the musical for Broadway. For Broadway, what do you think?
Are you going to do the vocal on the audio book?
No, not me. No, we're gonna do our quotes, right?
Well, we asked Tom to do it, but he's so busy, But anyway, we do have someone, right, John, that we're thinking about.
Mitch Michaels, everybody remember him from The Loop back in the day, and WGLD and DAI and all those stations, yeah. So we're talking with him right now, yeah.
Okay, great pipes, I think. Yes. All right. I'm getting to it. He's so used to being in control. How do you guys do it with him?
I'm retired now.
Take a breath, Marty. You're retired. All right, we got a couple more special friends here. Let's get Dennis up here. Where is he? I lost my glasses. Dennis Moore.
Dennis Moore, you're
More Dennis.
up here.
There he is. Got to come around this way, I think. New friends. All right. Come on up here, Dennis. Nice shirt.
I didn't expect this. Thank you for inviting me up, but I just want to tell a quick story. When I was probably 13 years old, my sister was going on a date with some guy. They talked about going to see this rocking group. I had no idea who they were. It was at Haymakers.
Haywires.
I'm sorry, Haywires, which
79th and Cicero.
Which was Harlow's also. But anyways, we couldn't drive. We grabbed a couple of friends. We got on our bikes. We went up there. We drove up. Long line going into the place. But what I remember most about it was the window on the place was just like bowing out as they were freaking jamming it. And the guy, I don't remember who they were or who it was at the time, but as I find out, it was Marty Margerosen with his long hair going, just freaking slamming on the drums. The door would open, the smell of smoke and something else would be coming out. And then fast forward 35 years, and I got the pleasure of having a neighbor like John McFarlane. And we've been friends for that long. Also, someone here mentioned about the legacy. Thank you for all the joy that you've provided over the years to all of us. I used to come into their shows and be pissed off from riding the Dan Ryan work. I would leave joyful. So thank you very much. Thanks for having me up.
Thank you, Dennis. Give it up for Dennis. We come to, I believe it is our final guest. We always save the best for last. This gentleman has worked with everybody. Be a lot easier to say those he didn't work with over the years. He is the president and CEO of Onesti Entertainment. Please give it up for Mr. Ron Onesti, who keeps music rolling throughout Chicagoland. And I just talked the other day to Carmine Apiece, and he told me this guy makes the best freaking meatballs you'll ever eat.
Hi, everybody. Hey, it's such an honor to be here, guys. God bless you. Congratulations. You know, I was listening to what Jimmy Lenz was saying. We kind of grew up in the business as well together. But when I was like in 8th grade, you know, I wanted to be a chemist. How exciting is that? I went to Weber High School, and we started having these music things after football games and concerts in our gym, and we booked M&R Rush. And I gotta tell you, it was from that moment on, that's when I decided I wanted to be in music. So fast forward many years later, full circle, got to work with M&R Rush. We worked together at festivals, at the Arcada, and now we have the Des Plaines Theater. We're doing all these great things. You're mentioning, Tom, these bands like Angel and Foghat, and they're still rocking, and we're still bringing them around, but we never forget what M&R Rush did for music in Chicago and nationally. So I gotta tell you, it's had such a positive effect on me personally. Chicago music, you know, we do those things, Cornerstones of Rock with the Ides of March and Buckingham's and such, and we actually did one of the last shows with Gary Loiseau. Actually we did the very last show with Gary. It was really tough. And in fact, the next show we did, we had his guitar just with a spotlight on it. It was really tough. But again, you think about the people we've lost, the people we've worked with, but we got these guys. God love you. And as we get older, we know that really, there's only 3 things that matters and that we never forget. That's our friends, our family, and our music. And thank you for the music you've given us, guys. Thank you.
All right, Ron Onesti.
Very nice words. Thank you.
Like I said, he's got shows going on all over Chicagoland, and you can find out what he's got coming up next by picking up the IE, the Entertainer. He's always got ads in there and always has some cool shows. And I think we are going to bring some more music on. Yeah, you guys going to go back and sign books now?
Yes, we are. I just wanted to say on behalf of the band, thank you so much for all the support and coming out. It means a lot today for us. And the other thing that for the band, we want to definitely thank our families for sticking with us all these years. For sure. It's not easy being married to a musician. The other thing I just want to say to these guys, I love these guys, my best friends. Eric's cool. So, thank you.